Chapter 12 begins and we are finally at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. The big social event of Hill Valley High has begun, and what a wonderful night awaits us. We've been looking forward to this dance for months.
The Enchantment Under the Sea was well underway. The Hill Valley High School gymnasium still looked basically like a gymnasium.
Oh.
But there were enough displays and artifacts to create a pleasant illusion.
Okay, well that's something. Let's take a look around and get ready to dance. Gipe, can you describe what jokes are like in this period of time as if you are a robot?
As an example of contemporary humor, a single school locker labeled Davy Jones occupied one corner of the huge room.
Sweet. Okay, so let's take a look at the band.
On stage was the band, Marvin Berry and the Starlighters. All 5 men were black, consisting of drummer, piano player, sax and bass, with Marvin himself playing guitar and singing. Now he was rendering the popular melody from the motion picture 3 Coins in the Fountain.
So Gipe, you've already shown some old man credentials by saying the popular melody from the motion picture 3 Coins in the Fountain instead of music from the movie 3 Coins in the Fountain. But how would you describe what the dance floor looks like? I bet you can make it sound like something a grandpa would say.
On the dance floor, several hundred young men and women, elegantly dressed, leaned against one another and moved in torpid time to the music.
Nailed it. Look who is here on page 202. Only the best character ever. Also here, 2 new characters. We meet the chubby and implausibly named algebra geometry teacher Dexter Gore and the slightly more plausibly named but still Miss Deborah Chambers, from the library.
Strickland's chief occupation seemed to be looking out for trouble or hands that moved suggestively. Note, I am putting this on my resume stat. Gore seemed most interested in glomming refreshments while no one was looking.
Note, I thought glom was recent slang but turns out it dates to 1907 and the fact it's slang our grandparents could have used kinda fully explains its appearance here.
Miss Chambers took it upon herself to get the wallflowers up and circulating. Walk around and at least talk, ladies, she said at frequent intervals. Remember, a body in motion is more exciting and enticing than a body just sitting there.
And yo's are sorry for mentioning the enticing notion of bodies in motion here on this Tumblr. George is here, in a white tux and bow tie, and he's really uncomfortable.
George just stood and watched the other dancers, but every once in a while he bopped out of time to the music.
George is still feeling uncomfortable for the plan that seems to have coalesced around him. Seriously, whose idea was this?
He tried not to think too much about Lorraine, who looked more beautiful than he had ever seen here. He also tried not to think too much about the scenario that was supposed to take place at 9 o'clock. How the heck did I get involved in this? He signed. I wish I was home.
And one nice piece of writing here is where Gipe explains why George doesn't just go home.
Of course, he could have left, but Marty had already seen him and winked knowingly.
You.
To have walked out after that actually required more courage than staying, so George hung around.
And I've been in a similar situation. As in, which of these 2 awkward things that I have to do is the least awkward? Arg, I'll just stick around and obsess about it for a while, so it was nice to see an actual human emotion I recognized in this book. The band starts on a new faster number, Marty's out there on the dance floor. And
it was 8:45, time to start the ball rolling.
In the movie, Marty pulls up to the dance late, so he and Lorraine are already there in the car. In the book Marty's already dancing with Lorraine, so on the next page they stop dancing and leave the dance and get into the car, which is awkward, but at least all the pieces are ending up where they need to be. I can't complain too much because it means soon we'll get more Strickland. P.S. Does anyone know an ASCII code for an eye with a heart on it? Please say yes. Page 203. Marty suggests to Lorraine that they sit this dance out, and Lorraine nods.
A seductive smile illuminating her features.
She goes to sit but Marty steers her outside, saying,
outside is better.
And if you want a line that says let's go make out, That certainly is one of the options you could choose. One problem, Mr. Strickland is blocking the way.
Mr. Strickland kept a sharp watch for who left the dance area and how long they stayed away. He seemed to have a computer in his head which told him exactly who was missing and how long they'd been gone. As a result, Marty and Lorraine had to hang around the entrance, waiting for Strickland to look away before they were able to leave.
After 5 minutes of waiting around, Marty and Lorraine managed to slip into the car. Told to us again in the most retro way possible. So old-fashioned that it slips around and becomes cool again.
It was 10 of 9 when they slipped into Doc Brown's Packard.
This page sucks a little because that bit I quoted above is all the Strickland action we get, and the dude never even refer to any of the literally hundreds of teens present as slackers. And it's another weird moment in the novelization, as I can't imagine the movie taking 5 minutes to show Marty and Lorraine waiting around for Strickland to glance away. But whatever, it works Strickland into the story where he otherwise wouldn't be, so I am so down with this. Inside the car, Lorraine says,
"Marty, I'm almost 18 years old.
And does there.
It's not like I've never parked before."
Line and tells Marty he looks nervous and puts her hand on his leg. "Marty, that is your mother."